Hello, beautiful soul. Today I want to speak directly to those of you who feel a deep need for certainty and security, which, let's face it, is especially relevant in our current culture, which actually holds high potential for distraction and sensory overload, which means you're processing and seeing a lot. So this video is for you if you navigate those emotional ups and downs or mental what if scenarios and you wonder why they're in your experience. Sometimes the what if thoughts and the emotional signals are helpful. And let's face it, sometimes they're exhausting, right? Well, I'm going to walk you through this step by step in a way that is gentle, grounded, and usable. And I'll be drawing from human neurobiology, quantum law, and spiritual law without bypassing our humanity. If we haven't met yet, my name is Elari Onawa. I have spent over 2 decades as a life on purpose coach supporting conscious, heart-centered women to live their soul truth and purpose. Prior to that, I worked in large companies all the way to the executive C level. And I did that for 20 years. So I'm sharing this because what many people are picking up emotionally, energetically, intuitively, it's not a flaw or a problem to solve. It's a gift. And I see far too many empathic, intuitive, and psychically sensitive women, and yes, some brave men too, struggling with these abilities like it's something they need to overcome. And this is something that I hope you can hear and consider for yourself. Heightened intuition, psychic and empathic abilities, they are part of your inner magic and they point directly to your purpose. Your gifts matter. Because when conscious, heart-centered women learn to leverage these gifts instead of suppressing them or thinking that they need to overcome them, they become the grounded, compassionate leaders the world needs right now. So first, let's touch on the truth that may just change the way that you see yourself. People who crave certainty and security are not less spiritual, they're not less gifted or less masterful. They are often more sensitive, more perceptive, and more attuned to potential futures and what's really happening in the environment around them. So their system is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that is to scan for potentials, and that will include both opportunities and challenges. So the goal is not to shut down what-if scenarios or what you are sensing. The goal is to teach the body where certainty actually lives. And before we do that, let's look at why what-if loops happen through a quantum and nervous system lens. From a quantum perspective, your mind naturally explores multiple probability timelines. That's what it was designed to do. From a nervous system perspective, the body may react as if those timelines are happening right now. So, for example, if you follow a scary potentiality and then you let that probability lead, time collapses into the unwanted direction. Instead of the future unfolding naturally, the body pulls imagined futures into the present as stress. But graceful manifestation works the opposite way. We don't collapse time or experience wanted potentials through fear. We collapse time and preferred experiences by feeling relaxed and safe. So here's the essential shift that calms a certainty-seeking nervous system. Certainty does not come from knowing what will happen or figuring it out or controlling all of the details. That just creates more internal pressure and stress. Certainty comes from knowing how you will meet what happens. Let that land. Certainty comes from knowing how you will meet what happens. Because when this shifts, safety is no longer dependent on outcomes or external conditions, and the body stops needing guarantees. Presence, in other words, being aware and noticing without story in the current moment, that becomes enough. And if you'd like some help with that, I can certainly leave a link to some other resources in the video description below. So let's look at how to calm a certainty-seeking nervous system. And we'll go through that step by step. So let's start with step 1. Stop asking the body to trust the future. Ask it to trust now. Your nervous system does not need proof. It does not need timelines or guarantees. What it does need is contact, regulation, and reassurance of capacity. So let's unpack this with some examples. Contact creates a feeling of safety through connection. It's a form of regulation. So let's look at 4 forms of connection and regulating. So you can choose whichever is easiest for you to use. You certainly don't have to use all of them. The first is connecting with the present moment. You've probably heard this one before, but let's go through it anyway. It's things like taking deep breaths and gently releasing, or feeling the weight of your body on your chair, or quieting your mind, or noticing the temperature of the air on your skin without thinking. These are not grounding techniques in a trendy sense. They are neurobiological orientation cues that tell the nervous system, I am here and everything is okay right now. The second form of connection, regulation, and reassurance of capacity can come from consciously connecting with yourself, and that's yourself with a capital S, which of course is huge, because many certainty-seeking systems learned early that support was inconsistent, and so not to depend on outer conditions. So self-contact looks like a hand on your heart, or wrapping your arms around your torso, or speaking internally in a steady, warm tone, or staying with a sensation instead of trying to fix it. In this case, you just let the energy dissipate naturally. The self-soothing message your body receives is, I am here with you and I will not disappear. You can also think of this as self-parenting from your higher self. It is a very powerful way to bring your nervous system into harmony with the higher truth of who you are. Let's look at a third way to connect and regulate, and that is relational connection, even if it's imagined. So before we ever self-regulate in a human body, we co-regulate. So helpful contact may be things like being with a calm, trusted friend, just being in their presence. It may be through eye contact or listening to a steady, calm voice, and this can be your voice or someone else's. Or it can be recalling someone who feels safe. The nervous system does not differentiate between an actual physical presence, a remembered one, or an imagined presence. They can all be highly effective. Relational co-regulation is also why we sometimes instinctively reach out for a friend's hand if we're in a movie and we get startled. And it's okay. It is okay to let yourself be supported. If you are heart-centered, high capacity, or a caring high achiever, you have certainly done more than your fair share of supporting others. So let's look at the fourth way to gracefully regulate the nervous system as empaths, intuitives, or psychic souls in a human body. And that's number 4, acknowledging what is without judgment or self-criticism. And that looks like witnessing without a story or being self-critical. You just name and acknowledge the emotion or the internal dialogue. So that might look like, oh, I am experiencing what this is hard feels like, or, oh, that's the part of me that doesn't like not knowing. Got it. Or that perspective over there, that feels contracting. When experiences are named without urgency, the message from your nervous system is received. And that means there's no need for the body or the nervous system to escalate the message into a bigger impulse or feeling. So those are the forms of honoring and soothing your body and your nervous system. So I want to delve a little deeper into why this topic matters so much and why you may feel the way you do. Highly sensitive, empathic, and intuitive people are often exquisitely attuned to other nervous systems. They can be quick to self-regulate for others and slow to receive regulation themselves. Many learned early that I need to be the steady one here. I need to be the strong one. So when uncertainty arises, they default to overthinking, future scanning, and hyper responsibility, and they tend to be really hard on themselves too. But from a soul perspective, the soul treats the body gently and with respect. When a sensitive system feels cared for, intuition clarifies, empathy becomes wisdom, and leadership becomes embodied. This is why conscious, heart-centered women don't become powerful by hardening. Your power emerges when you are held long enough to remember who you are so you can trust that again. And we hold ourselves according to the truths that we live inside. When we rest in our sovereign authority, we no longer need the world to be different in order to feel safe. Instead, you let life be as it is, and you give yourself permission to shine from the steady light of your soul truth, of your sovereign authority. We are all called to honor our spiritual and our physical aspects, and this means navigating the sandbox of time and space as a spiritual being in a human body. So let's move to step 2. After you've become present and soothed the body, what do you do with an overactive mind that's anticipating potential outcomes? Let's look at step 2, redirecting what ifs into response certainty. When an unwanted what if thought arises, don't argue with it. Notice it and instead say, whatever happens, I will respond from steadiness, or presence, or higher truth. When you pick a higher level standard like steadiness or presence or higher truth or love, when you pick one of those higher level standards, something you resonate with, you create a tool that you can access anytime. Your body knows what to do. You can also remove any felt pressure by choosing, I don't need to solve this to be safe right now. This tells the body this isn't happening right now, and it may never happen. I am capable. I will not abandon myself. That signals safety to the body. Now, let's look at step 3, collapse time by anchoring capacity, not outcomes. So this distinction is very powerful. Fear collapses time by imagining threats. Loving intelligence collapses time by remembering capability. So try this simple somatic question. Have I handled things before that I once thought I couldn't? But here's a distinction. Don't answer from the mind. Let the body answer. This is key. Let the body answer. Because body memory of capacity equals nervous system certainty. So from a spiritual perspective, the soul does not move through time the way the body does. When the body feels safe, it aligns with the soul's timeless knowing. Intuition sharpens, synchronicity accelerates. So we don't force manifestation. We simply remove friction related to our physically oriented experiences. Here's a soul nurturing way to collapse time when you want to manifest something that feels like a big leap or it creates anxiety. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Slow your breath, then softly say, I don't need certainty about the future. I need safety in this moment. And that is already here. Let's do that again. I don't need certainty about the future. I need safety in this moment, and that is already here. Pause and let the body register this. So this practice releases anxiety-based futures. It brings awareness back into the now, and it allows preferred probabilities to reorganize naturally. So here's why this accelerates manifestation without strain. When the nervous system relaxes, perception widens, options appear, intuition becomes clearer, timing feels lighter. That's why things sometimes suddenly move. Not because you pushed, but because you stopped interfering. So here's a single anchoring sentence that you might love. You can return to this anytime. I don't need certainty about what will happen. I trust my ability to meet life with steadiness, presence, and care. This sentence honors the nervous system, avoids spiritual bypass, and supports quantum coherence. And it also invites graceful unfolding. So here's a final truth for those of you that need to hear this. People who seek certainty are not broken. They're being called to learn something profound. True security comes from self-loyalty, not prediction. True certainty comes from loving presence, not control. And when that lands in the body, time softens, life responds gently, and abundance doesn't have to be chased. It arrives. If this video resonated, I invite you to sit with this gently, like and save it, and come back and watch it again. There's a lot we covered here, and you will definitely pick up something new or hear it in a different way the second time you sit with this. I'll also leave some links to additional resources in the video description for powerfully navigating the sandbox of time and space as a high-capacity old soul in a human body. You are not too much. You are tuned in, and your sensitivity is part of what you're here to lead with. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.